I'm Honolulu, an artist who loves Jesus and helping my fellow artists, and today I want to talk about art block. In the background, I'll be making models for 3D roses, printing and putting them together as a gift for my beau and friends for Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day, just in case anyone wanted to know what was happening in the background or what it has to do with the video. It just kinda is there in case you want to watch or listen instead. It's fine, I only spent all month learning how to make these things. Anyway, back onto the main topic, art block. I see a lot of people asking about how to deal with art block all over the internet and in my day-to-day life, and honestly, I do and don't get it. Now, I've had art block before, yes indeed I have. However, it's usually because I'm bored somehow, so here's what I usually do to deal with it. The last time I had serious art block was due to boredom in the summertime, and I didn't know I was really bored because I kept doing what I normally do, which is an art challenge. I ended up doing a art challenge that I guess would be called the 30-day art improvement challenge. I'm not sure if it's an official challenge or not because I stole it from Ginger Ninja and I saw her doing it and I thought, wow, that looks really fun and cool. Maybe this could help me with my art block. And so I did it, and I was still bored with art afterwards. Usually those kinds of things give me some sort of motivation because I would rather be drawing something else than doing the art challenge, but it didn't give me that, and that was really weird. Though I had fun with the challenge, I had zero ideas between the days of the challenge, which normally during Inktober and such, I get big flows of ideas. Mainly because I am forced to use my drawing time for study, and it takes a lot more time to do a study than it does to do a drawing. At least it feels that way, even though not really. Either way, it forces my brain to rather be doing something else by boring it with learning. For example, we all like to doodle on our notebooks and in our tests and our textbooks and quizzes and who knows what's in school, at least if you're allowed to, and that's usually because our brain is so bored out of its mind due to a lack of, movies, screens, technology in general, or entertainment in general if you want to generalize it, which I am because I'm using the word general a lot. This usually will kind of boost your creativity and your want to draw. So really, if you think about it, you don't have to do an art improvement challenge or a drawing challenge in general. You could just do a technology fast and see how many ideas you get for your art. But I know a lot of you guys are dopamine addicts, so that's why I'm giving you the alternative. But I mean, if you want to prove me wrong, don't comment and just leave the video right now. Bye! Go read a book and cure your art block or something. I don't know. Actually, no, don't read a book. Just sit there. Watch paint dry. I don't care. Do nothing. Go touch grass and kick rocks. You will cure your art block. I'm sorry, but being bored is the cure to art block. Anyway, let's go on to some other ideas. Doing things I really would rather not be doing usually cures my art block, such as, the things that I just listed earlier, except this time it didn't work. Nothing was really working to cure my art block, and it was that concerned me. I still didn't want to draw after the challenge. I had done a fast from technology as well, because I will do that randomly whenever I feel like I need to, but even that wasn't helping. So you know what I did? I looked through my sketchbook, and I found a drawing that I had doodled during the 30-day art challenge that I kind of thought, I don't really care about it, and abandoned it, thinking I would never look at it again. But I looked at it again, and I took a picture of it, and I put it on my iPad. And you know what I did? I tried a new art medium called digital art. Whoa! And I discovered that I really like drawing digitally. It is so much fun, and this is coming from a gal who has been drawing traditionally, strictly, for 8, almost 9 years now. I don't know how that happened because I was so terrified of digital art for so long. I had gotten my iPad actually 3 years earlier with the purpose and intention of just drawing digitally, so that way maybe I could make a comic or maybe I could work on 3D modeling. And then I got terrified because Abyss Paint has so many buttons. I hate it! But luckily Procreate does not have as many buttons and it's a lot easier to use, so sorry, but I would rather pay $10 than learn what all those buttons do on Abyss Paint. Anyway, back to art block. Digital art cured my art block. Does that mean every traditional artist should switch to digital? No. It just means that I was tired of drawing traditionally and needed to try a different artistic medium, which could also be the case for you if you're struggling with art block. Let me explain. You don't need to just switch over to a completely big and new scary art medium. You could swap from watercolor markers to alcohol markers. See the differences there. See the difference in vibrancy and blending. You could also switch from watercolors to acrylics. They're still different, but they both involve a brush. You could switch from painting on canvases to painting on paper, or all sorts of different things. You can try different art supplies. You don't need to stick with the same ones. This is coming from someone who has way too many art supplies, so maybe don't trust me on that, but I find it to be really helpful to just try new things. Because if you're trying a new art supply, you can also learn how to use other art supplies that you've already used. It's really weird and probably makes sense, but it's very helpful. And if you are experimenting with different art mediums and you find that you really prefer painting with acrylics rather than painting with gouache or painting with watercolors or just inking or whatever, if you find that you have a different art medium that you enjoy more than the one that you did before, that means that you're growing as an artist, and that is great. I actually didn't think of it that way and was really confused why I was all of a sudden doing so much better with my art block when I switched to the digital art, because, well, I didn't realize that I was technically growing as an artist until Mr. Scott the Hobbit told me so while he was trying to promote his book, at the same time being very helpful, because this man is just helpful. Anyways, he has a really cool book, and if you want to read what he has to say about art block, I recommend checking it out. It really helped me understand what was going on in my process without having it directly spelled out for me until he was talking about it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so now we have two methods for tackling art block. Challenging yourself, depriving yourself, and wait a minute, that's three. Challenging, depriving, and trying new things. Which I guess could also fall under the category of challenging, because it's a challenge, but it's also a new tool. Just, learning new stuff in general can really help progress your art and keep art block away. It's like if an apple a day keeps the doctor away, maybe try different fruits and see which ones keep the doctor away for longer amounts of time. I don't think there's actually a saying that goes like that, but maybe it could work. But anyway, now that you have those 2 or 3 things in your arsenal for battling art block, there's one other thing you gotta remember while dealing with it. Art block is completely natural for any creative. It happens to musicians, writers, and artists of all different types. Just know that it's gonna happen if it hasn't happened already, and if it has happened already, you'll probably get through it. It may take a while. I knew one gal, it took her like 5 years to get through her art block, but she came out of it with amazing art. Still a little bit of art block here and there, but amazing art. It's okay to deal with art block, and just remember you'll get through it. It's okay. And if you don't, maybe there's something else going on. It's not always just trying new things or learning things that really captures the art block in your system. Sometimes you're in an emotional or spiritual state that just isn't ready to be creative right now. I've had this happen a few times where my emotions tend to bubble up and overflow, or heck, even when my health isn't that good, I don't feel like drawing when I'm sick or when I'm stressed, though there are some instances where it really helps. Just there are a lot of times where drawing just isn't really fun when you're not doing well. It can be a good outlet, but make sure that you are using it as a healthy outlet. At one point, I used to kind of draw to vent out my emotions, but I'm not sure who I was trying to vent those emotions out to. It's good to know exactly what you're drawing and why, so that way it's a healthy outlet and not just an outlet that breaks things. Like, say your outlet is punching things. It's best if you have a punching bag, so that way you know that you're punching the punching bag and not punching the wall or your bed frame. You have to know where it's going to land, what it's going to hit, and what it will do. Because honestly, if you're just drawing all these negative things all the time to express yourself, that's going to be all that you want to express. And it's not always the best thing, especially if whoever you are expressing these things to isn't just yourself or God, or just in general making art to be disturbing rather than to be healing. And I mainly say this because I have dealt with that. I have made a lot of drawings to express myself, but then finding that it doesn't really help. But the way I have turned that around now so that I can still draw out those emotions, but know that it is healthy and in a good, safe way to express myself, is by turning them into a prayer. It's kind of weird, but I will take some of those drawings and go, yep, this is my prayer to Jesus. He knows what it means, and he knows what needs to be done with this particular drawing, and he knows who it will reach and what the purpose will be behind this. And in one of my more recent pieces, which actually is the longest piece that I've ever had to draw, that's exactly what I've been trying to have it be, is a prayer. But because of that, I kind of thought I had art block again this past December and January because this particular drawing was taking so long to do. So when it comes to those emotional pieces, remember to take breaks. I did, and I made those little emojis that I've been using for various videos, and that reminded me that, oh yeah, I can draw, and I can draw really fast. I just need to take my time with this one particular drawing and trust that everything else will not take as long, but this one will. But anyway, I hope you enjoy my take on art block and how I deal with it, and also some random little emotional bits thrown in there. I do have one little announcement, well, kind of a big announcement that I would like to make at the end of this video, which is coming up pretty quickly, so I'm just going to talk about it right now. I really want to introduce some of my original characters to the internet. However, not all of them are really done being designed yet. And when I say that, I mean I've had these characters around for a long time. I just have been hoping to revamp them so that I can use them in a graphic novel that I'm working on called The Line of Power. The main character will be this little girl, Evelyn. I'm going to put her up on the screen, hopefully, if my editing skills allow it. There she is. And I want to introduce her, along with some of the other main characters for this story, to all of you guys. However, it may be at least 1 or 2 more months before I feel confident in the story and plot before I start introducing some of these characters. I was really hoping to introduce them in February, but we will see how that goes. In the meantime, though, I'm wanting to start a series where on Thursdays I start drawing my subscribers' OCs. I really enjoy looking at other people's characters and drawing them in my style and showing what I think they look like or how I see them in general. And this is kind of how I started making characters, or at least started writing characters. One of my friends can let you know about that if she ever decides to show herself. But basically, I started out drawing other people's characters, and that's what inspired me to go, hey, I could actually write a comic if I really put my heart and mind into it. And so that's what I'm doing right now. But I don't want to stop drawing other people's characters. So I was wondering if anyone would like to submit their characters to my community posts. I'm making it so that people have to be subscribed in order to participate, though, mainly because I don't want there to just be a spam of characters. There's also a bunch of rules, well, just a little list of standard rules that I think should be followed in the community. which I have pinned, so there's no way you can miss it, don't worry. And in order to have your character drawn, I would really like for there to be a little description and just a little like, what are they about and who are they, that kind of thing, if possible. And just a couple of references. It can be some doodles, it can be some drawings, it could even be like a Roblox avatar, an Animal Jam avatar, a Gacha Studio type avatar. I don't care. Even honestly, if you use a toy or if you use a Lego, I don't really care what you use to represent your character, so long as you give me information and a visual. I love guesstimating what a character's supposed to look like in someone else's head, even if I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, you can just yell at me in the comment of the video where I show off the final product. So anywho, that's what I would really love to do if you guys will let me draw your characters. This applies to friends and family that I know in real life as well. I've seen a lot of them get really shy and for some reason not submit their characters. I know who you are. You know who you are. Please show me your characters. Yes, I already know what they look like. You can text them to me. I don't care. I just want to draw your characters with permission and give me who I should credit. I also want to know who to credit for these things. I also want to know if they are in a universe with lore, because that makes it even more fun, because then I can guess what's going on if you submit multiple characters, even if they're not in the same story. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun with this, and I really hope that you enjoy the results that I can give you. The main big rule that I have is just please no inappropriate content. I have little cousins that are watching this channel, and I do not want any small children exposed to things that they should not. If I see something inappropriate, I am removing it from my community immediately, as soon as I can. I do check this stuff pretty frequently just because I'm paranoid, and I don't want to expose the little kids to this stuff, which I know is not like the main part of my audience, but there's a little small bit of them that are in there, and I just want to make sure that those who are small are safe. I'm also going to consider basically everything about these original characters to be fantasy, so if you're referencing real life, I'm also going to be kind of taking that as fantasy as well, just because I think it's a fun thing to do and a neat way of avoiding going, oh, well, I don't agree with that person's beliefs. I'm just going to take everything that has to do with these characters as fantasy. If you're not okay with that, don't submit your characters. It's fine by me. Anyway, this could have been a video on itself talking about how I would love to draw your characters, but anyways, that's all I have to ramble on about today, and I hope to see you guys next month in my long-form video that I know what I'm going to talk about, but you'll have to wait until next month to find out what it is. But until then, you can see my cat on Mondays and my fish on Fridays and my art on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays in between. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You can go now. Good luck with your art block. And Jesus loves you. Bye bye.